So today I'm going to be filming a video on how I redid my Betta Fish tank to look like this. Today I'm going to be changing this 10-gallon freshwater tank that is filled with some fake plants. It has a betta fish in there, some snails, and some cherry shrimp. And I'm going to be changing it to all live plants. I'm going to change the substrate as well. But this is the before shot, so it has a sponge filter in the corner, and then it has a heater as well. The substrate is sand at the moment, and then it has some cool rocks. There's a little like military guy skeleton that we're gonna keep in it in the new tank. But anyway, there's Dodger. He's our super cool male betta fish. And this is his tank at the moment, so we're gonna replace it for him. So here in this 5-gallon bucket, I have the 2 plants I'm gonna be using. So the first one is Java fern, or like a type of Java fern, and this is going to go in the tank. So that's Java fern. It grows pretty easy for beginners. Like, this is probably the best beginner plant that you could get. So yeah, I'm gonna be using that one, and then the other one is actually called pearlweed, and that's going to go in the bottom of the tank. So I've used this once before, so I thought I'd try it again, but we'll see. And both of those are sitting in the bucket filled, they're completely underwater with a little bit of water conditioner. And those will be sitting in the bucket for 3 days, so I'm quarantining them before I put them into my tank, because even if you buy them from a really reliable aquarium or fish store, they could still carry diseases or fungus, bacteria. Sometimes they even have snails in them, which could bring in something to your tank. So I quarantine them for 3 days before I put them in my tank. And so in this bucket, it is filled with very, very hot water. You can see I basically burned my hand. No, I'm just kidding, but it's really, really hot water. And this is dragonstone, or some people call it dragon rock. It's really freaking cool. So this is gonna go in the tank. It's gonna be kind of my main centerpiece where I put most of the plants. So I'm gonna glue most of the plants onto this rock. Here's better lighting, but it has a lot of crevices and really cool nooks and crannies in it, but that's what I'm gonna be putting in the tank. It does, however, have like clay on it, or like dirt kind of stuck in those crevices. As you can see, I'll show it on my thumb right there. So I let this soak for like a day or two, and then I kind of get in there with like a garden hose with a nozzle on like full blast, and I just spray the crap out of it to get rid of all of the tannins and clay and stuff that's on it. So this is dragonstone. Here's just another shot of the tank before we start changing it. So this has all the rocks, it has a bunch of fake plants, and then the substrate. And there's Dodger swimming, of course, because he probably thinks he's being fed. So I just lifted the lid up because I'm going to begin taking everything out. So when you do this to a tank, the first thing you should do is actually unplug the filter and unplug the heater too. So I already did that, and so now I'm taking out the rocks, the skull guy, and I'm going to take out all of the fake plants as well. But for now, I'm going to leave the fish in there until I begin taking out the water. So I'll talk about it later in the video, but I was planning on just keeping the sand, but I didn't realize how dirty it had gotten. So I ended up just taking out all the sand completely. So you're gonna see me siphoning the sand, basically cleaning the sand so that I can use it again. But I actually just end up taking it all out. So see, here I am wasting my time siphoning, cleaning through the sand, just trying to get all of the poop and just get all the dirty nastiness out of the sand before I end up just taking it all out. So since I decided to just completely take all the sand out, I have to take the fish out. So I'm putting them in a 5-gallon bucket with the tank water that they're currently in. And so I have to catch Dodger, but I really suck and he's super fast, so I couldn't catch him. So then I had to ask my boyfriend to, and he caught him like that, very fast. And he's also getting out the 3 cherry shrimp that we have too. And so they're going in the bucket as well with all the plants that they had in their tank and the same tank water, and we'll put the heater in there too while we completely clean out everything else, just so that the water doesn't get too cold for them while they're hanging out in the bucket while we work on their tank. So here is our freshly cleaned tank. So again, we removed the sand out, wiped everything down, cleaned the glass really well, and so now I'm just working on my aquascaping. So I put in the dragon stone or dragon rock in there, and then I'm putting in 2 other rocks and that little skeleton guy that we like. And it's always good to put the hard aquascape, like rocks and things first, and then fill in the soil, which of course I forgot to do. So that soil there is Aqua Solum Black Humate by Aqua Vitro. It's basically soil, and it's really, really good for plants. So in that section that I have it is where I'm going to put the plants. And how to plant the plants is I'm going to use the Flourish glue. It's just a glue that you can use to stick the roots of the plants to any kind of rock or stone that you're using. So just like that. And so basically what I'm going to be doing is cutting pieces of the Java fern that I want and using the Flourish glue to stick it to the rock to put in the tank. So like this. So you can just cut the root or amount of piece that you want. And then you can take the Flourish glue and put a decent sized glob on. And then all you have to do is just hold it to the rock for 20 seconds. And that's what I'm doing here. So now I'm just grabbing one of those rocks because I also want to stick some of the Java fern to it. And so here I'm showing it, if it will focus, kind of focusing. Okay. And I'm just sticking it to the rock like that and holding it for 20 seconds. And this is pearlweed, what I just showed. And pearlweed, it's not really a carpeting plant, but basically you plant it yourself and then it grows up. Then you cut it and you can add it to more of the floor. But once I actually started using it, I completely regretted it. It's really hard to work with. I don't even know why I chose this plant. So that's probably something I'm going to eventually replace, but you can see me kind of struggling. So then I started to use tweezers, which I don't know if that was more difficult or hard, but I have a feeling that they're just going to float to the top anyway because they kind of just attach to the bottom, but I don't know, they end up just floating all over the tank anyway. So that's called pearlweed. So here I am just adding the rest of the substrate that we want to use, which is just like a white or beige sand, and that has already been rinsed with water and everything, so it's ready to go in. And I'm just going to fill in all the empty spots and really try and get around the rocks and other things. But that's pretty much what it looks like finished. I wish I had more plants now that I'm looking at it, but it'll grow and it'll probably fill in better. But I might look into getting like a carpeting plant for the black soil substrate as opposed to Java fern, since I'm already regretting putting Java fern in. But anyway, that's me just kind of finishing up what I want to do before I add water, because then you're not able to change things or move things around as well. So here I am filling up the tank with some water that has water conditioner, of course, so that it's safe for the fish. And it's a good idea if you can use some kind of flat like plate, or this is just a lid to a jar, to fill up the water with. Like, I focus the water on the plate so that it doesn't disturb the sand, the plants, everything you worked for. And it also kind of reduces the chance of the water being like cloudy. And that's what I'm doing here. And the water conditioner that I'm going to be using is by Aqueon, and it's very important, yes. So here is the finished tank. I'm pretty happy with it. I just really wanted, I guess I should have probably used more plants, like more Java fern at least, so that I could cover the heater back there. But they'll grow obviously and they'll spread out more, so I think it's gonna look pretty good, but it has to wait for it to grow. And of course the pearlweed did float to the top like I thought. And I'm probably just going to take it out, to be honest, because the snails are going to mess with it anyway, and I don't want Dodger to like try and eat it or something. I don't know. I just want to get it out of there. But anyway, I really liked how it came out though. It's nice and clean looking and sleek, and when the plants grow in, it'll be really, really nice. And Dodger obviously is happy with it. But here's another angle so that you can see it a little bit closer. But Dodger's pretty happy. He's swimming around. The snails like it. It's a lot of new things to explore. But I think he came out pretty good. I really like live plants, so I'll continue to use those for the rest of my fish tank. But yeah, so pretty happy with it. And then here's some cool footage of Dodger swimming around exploring his tank. And then there's Abby. So Abby, she's so cute. She always likes to watch me work on the tanks and to feed the fish. But I think it turned out pretty cool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. I have some other reptiles, some other fish tanks I'm going to be doing some videos about. So if you want to keep watching them, then please subscribe. Thank you.